Yeah, the battle for Player of the Year is hotting up, and that will be announced in a prestigious ceremony on the 22nd of April. I mean, I am more than aware that I've got three strikers in front of me who know it's all about goals, but this accolade isn't just about goals scored, but about the importance of a player in terms of the team and teammates around him. And what a special season Kevin De Bruyne is having for City.
Kevin De Bruyne has been sensational. He's taken his game to another level under Pep Guardiola. I think as a striker, when you actually watch him play, some of the passes and the vision he has and the passes he picks out are like, you know, you think to yourself, how did he see that? And he does it all. He's been running from midfield. He's been ever present most of the time, left foot, right foot, assists, scoring goals, actual ability on the ball. He's done it all. He's been Manchester City's best player so far this season. And when you have a season like that, obviously you think to yourself, it's a season of the ages. You really do think that it's a season of the ages. But unfortunately, the other guy on the other, for the other club has had just as good a season. So it's really, you know, you've got to pick what you like. And I think Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best players in the Premier League. But that other guy on the other side, for me, Salah, you know, you just can't get away from him. You just can't get away from that other guy.
I've got this in my head. Oh, Salah, and I can't get it out of my head.
Oh, yeah, it's a song, yeah.
This is killing me. I'm going to speak about De Bruyne. De Bruyne, as Kevin says, this guy is really complete. And the one thing I'd say is his weakness is actually one-on-one. He doesn't really go cross players, and he doesn't put himself in a position to go cross players. So when he's out wide, he's a throwback to David Beckham. He crosses the ball as well as David Beckham in wide positions. And and if he's deep, he has the quality to hit that 40, 50-yard pass. And that may be on his left foot or his right foot. And when he's in the pocket in that number 10 row, where you need the cute, intricate passes, perfectly weighted, he's got that quality as well. So he's that all-round midfielder, apart from dribbling across a player like a Messi would do. For me, he's been absolutely brilliant. He's a lot to do with why City have played the way they play. But as Kevin says, you know, Salah has been absolutely tremendous. But De Bruyne, for me, has been absolutely brilliant. It's a joy to watch him. You watch him from up in the stands, and you go, right, you see it from a bird's eye view, and you go, that's the pass. And a second later, ping, he's knocking that pass. And you just think, he sees it like he's up in the stands with you.
Yeah.
He's a quality player. And I sometimes feel privileged to be able to watch him and analyse him.
Do you know, I was interviewing the Wigan Athletic goalkeeper when they beat, of course, Manchester City. But I did ask him when they were basically facing a barrage of attacks and deliveries from out wide. I said, what was it like facing someone like Kevin De Bruyne? And his response was brilliant. He just said, basically, the crosses that went in, the quality, I can only sum up as saying that they were a disgrace. I suppose, look, if you were a striker playing in the same team as Kevin De Bruyne, I mean, that would be manna from heaven for you, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. I mean, the lads have probably expressed every strength that he's got. The one thing that I would add to it is that the timing of his crosses, he doesn't wait. And as a centre-forward, you know, if everyone's set in the middle, it's very hard to score, especially for someone like me. Didn't have the size or the strength of these guys. So I needed somebody to cross it, keeping everybody on their toes, or just as people think they're set, the cross comes in and I could nip across the front post. He plays the ball in at any opportunity as quick as he can, as quick as possible, and with great pace on the ball. He strikes the ball so clean, as Kevin said, with either foot. He can score goals. But I think the overriding thing of it all is his vision. I mean, he's playing balls that probably we all look at and think 1 or 2 seconds later, oh, I can see that. He's seen it, he's pulled his leg back, he's hit it. And then later on, we're all thinking, oh, yeah, I can see that. What he's thinking seconds before you. He's an amazing player with great vision.
I'm getting the impression from the three of you that you'd all go for Mohamed Salah if it was down to one or the other. Is that right?
Well, it is so hard because De Bruyne has been exceptional. Has been an exceptional season this year for those two players. Head and shoulders above anything else, I think. But you just can't ignore the numbers of Salah. You just can't.
But why should it be about just goals?
Because it's the hardest thing in the world to do. You know, scoring goals is the hardest job.
Yeah. I'm asking the worst possible player.
Up until about 4 weeks ago, I had them neck and neck.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest with you. I had them neck and neck. That's how good a season Kevin De Bruyne has had. But Salah has just kept going. You know, well, Manchester City have kind of faltered. There's no stopping this guy right now. And Salah is pushing, he's scoring decisive goals. That's the other thing. He's making a real difference for his team, and he's scoring all kinds of goals. And, you know, Kevin De Bruyne, as I say, the vision and the assists and the goals have been fantastic. But when you have a player who is decisive, who makes a massive difference, and especially now in the Champions League, this was an important 2 games to see whether KDB could have the influence for Manchester City or Mohamed Salah could have the influence for Liverpool. Now that Salah's done it, I've got to say, take my hat off and say Salah's.
On the goals front, somebody said to me, look, if you're going to choose the goal scorer to be player of the season, then why isn't Glenn Murray ahead of Kevin De Bruyne, considering that he's got a few more goals in the Premier League? But obviously it's more about the technique.
Yeah, it's not just about goals.
And the wizardry and what he does for his teammates.
Yeah, it's not just about goals. Of course, goals are the hardest thing to do. You know, it's the hardest part of the game to score goals. And he's done it at levels that we perhaps have never seen before. And we're talking about, you know, the Shearers, the Suarez's. He's
Ronaldo,
right up there. Yeah, I mean,
Ronaldo got 42, didn't he? And Salah could break that.
It's scary how many goals he's scoring from a player that doesn't even play as a straight centre forward. You know, he comes in off the
right, yeah.
off wide. So, yeah, I'm always keen to not be biased and think, right, whoever's the top scorer in the league is going to win it. But it is the hardest position to play. It is the hardest thing to do. You know, I always joke, but if you're only average at football, they put you at right back or left back or maybe a sitting midfielder. The class players, I'm afraid, the class players with all the skill, with all the, vision and the instinctiveness, they're all attacking players. You know, you look at the geniuses around the world, it's the Messis, it's the Salahs, it's the Ronaldos, it's the David Silvas, the De Bruynes. They are the ones that have got that something special about them, and this fella has just got that.
OK, well, what about the running for the manager of the year? Should it necessarily go to the person who finishes top of the table?
No, it shouldn't necessarily, because you have to take into consideration money spent. You have to take into consideration the squad that they actually have at their disposal. But you also have to look at what they've achieved and has the team progressed and improved as well. So, you know, there's been some fantastic management jobs done. I think Sean Dyche has done an absolutely tremendous job at Burnley.
Third lowest budget in the Premier League, behind Brighton and Huddersfield. And they're knocking on the door of possible European football.
Of European football. So that in itself, I believe, he could be manager of the year for sure. And I'm sure in some quarters, maybe the sports writers, etc., might give him manager of the year. Because when you're operating at a small budget, you are hamstrung, to say the least. You can't go out and buy world-class players like Pep Guardiola can, or some of the other Mourinho's and most of the top managers. But what you do is you depend on your coaches, you depend on your instincts, and you depend on setting a good game plan and implementing that. And that's what he's done. And he's done a fantastic job. But you can't overlook, for me, what Pep Guardiola's done.